Hey, 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 what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of Quickmail.io.
Hey, hey, hey. This is Jack, Chief Lead Generation Officer at Salesbread.com.
Booyah.
Today, Jeremy, let's talk about sprint campaigns and evergreen campaigns with cold outreach. They're
Hmm.
different.
Is that
They
is
have
that a
pros
thing?
and cons.
Are they
Yeah,
different?
it's a thing. What are they? It's a good first question to answer. Those sprints are like dedicated, I would call them like small batch cold outreach
How
campaigns.
dare you answering before, doing the sponsoring stuff?
Not cool. Not cool. Or evergreen, kind of what it sounds like. But fine, Jeremy. I won't get ahead of ourselves. Let's go straight
Yes.
to the sponsor. I've got him actually right here in the studio.
I guess.
Today, most B2B companies lack the time or expertise to turn those cold prospects into warm sales qualified leads. That's why at salesbread.com, we're going to bring you one lead every day, Monday through Friday, by sending ultra personalized cold emails and LinkedIn messages on your behalf so that you don't have to worry about list building, personalization, copywriting, follow up, and everything in between. So if you'd like to expand your sales pipeline, get some more book calls, more sales ops, without spending all the time needed to do it yourself, head over to salesbread.com, click that contact button, and we'll set up a jam session between you and I, at least for the moment, where we can brainstorm together. Salesbread.com. See you there.
Absolutely. And if your cold outreach solution currently is sending your email to spam, having it's time to change, give Quickmail a go. It's got great inbox rotation, awesome deliverability, lots of great features to keep an eye and track on what's happening. And yeah, give it a go. And otherwise, just contact us and see if we can give you a demo.
All right, well
That's
said.
it.
What we need, Jeremy, is that fancy 10-minute timer of yours, and then
Yeah.
we can dive straight in. Okay. So sprint campaigns, evergreen campaigns, it's
Yeah, what is
inspired
that?
by a recent cold email consultation I had this week. Brought up this very question. It's like, should we be doing more of the sprint aspect or evergreen? And let's break this down. Are you restarting the timer?
I'm sorry, I closed it. So anyway, I am restarting the timer.
I'm
Let's
going to
let's
mentally
ignore it.
shave 10 seconds right there. Exactly. So, what's a sprint campaign? I'll give you an example. So, imagine, Jeremy, that Quickmail just signed up a new startup from Y Combinator. Okay. A sprint campaign would
Another one.
be
Oh
what,
gosh.
there you go. When let's say the campaign manager says, oh, we can use this to inform a new campaign. Let's find all the Y Combinator companies from this year's batch, write a really nice campaign that highlights the one that we're working with, why they went with us, great case study, great audience, great list, boom.
Okay.
Okay, that's a sprint, you know? Um,
I was
compared to,
I was thinking
compared
like
to,
an event as well, like a big event in the industry. You want to go
perfect.
there, invite, line up some in-person meeting. That's a one go, right?
Okay, that feels a little different than what we're talking about because an in-person meeting would be a different outcome than like what you could do in an evergreen. So imagine it was the same CTA, right? Like an in-person campaign is fundamentally different because you're lining up in-person meetings. I'm going for more like
Is it not like a
at the end
sprint
of
campaign? Like I was just like giving an example of a sprint
it. It
campaign.
is it is, but let's pick this apart a little bit. How
Okay.
could you do something else that is like that? There's no related campaign around setting up in-person meetings around an event. So it doesn't compute. It's like apples and oranges.
Are we talking about like evergreens or are we talking about sprint?
Okay, so good question. So I'm seeing right now the events approach being fundamentally different because I can't copy it in another fashion. I can't take that similar idea and replicate it 1,000 times
I got
what I
it.
could with an
So
evergreen.
you could effectively, if you go to different events, that's some of like some strategy and so on. But what you're saying is a sprint campaign is different than that. So it needs to be able to be replicated with other things. Like, I'm not quite sure I get, and I'm sorry I'm wasting time, of course, here, but
You're wasting
I think for
time.
the
No, it's
listeners,
okay.
it'll be good to understand.
Imagine
Like,
this, really
what's
simple. Spring campaign, let's find all of the Y Combinator batches and make them a dedicated messaging. And we're going to use this Y Combinator case study to win over more Y Combinator clients. Now, Evergreen would be, look, we don't really care if they're Y Combinator graduates. Instead, we're just going to go after all the B2B SaaS companies out there that look like ones that we serve. Boom, that's it. The difference is one is very specific and focused on a unique list for a unique message, and the Evergreen applies to a whole lot more. Yeah.
So what
yeah.
you're thinking really is more about the prospecting side, right?
The reason I dinged you on the event, and I hate that we're still here, but the event you're saying you might want to line up in-person meetings, Jeremy, and that's great. But like,
yeah, it's different.
You
things,
can't
right?
do in-person meeting with another list. So here we are. Which one is better? What are the advantages? The Y Combinator list, two advantages.
More powerful.
It's easier to build.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a case study that's spot on. I mean, the messaging and it's good. It's good. And if you've built the list on the right attribute, Y Combinator graduates, then you stand a pretty good chance of reaching out to the right prospect that also want this. And so that's why
you won't have as many, right? Your finite market in a sense.
Yeah. So what you're going to find is like, every 5 days, you're going to have to find another sprint, and like on you go, you kind of identify the next thing, and you have your list builder work on that, and you're hustling to keep up.
So when we're talking sprint one, we're talking about like every week or at different cadence, you keep on respawning another one, where the event one is really a one-off. And I think that's a big difference. Okay, got it. Now I'm fully with you. And that's great because we got 6 minutes left.
All right. Right. So
I'm with you.
So those are the benefits of the Evergreen. The sprints work. But I always suggest looking to build an Evergreen campaign which allows for a slower burn, at least. And here's the nice part, Jeremy, is I'm not going to say just do Evergreen and forget the sprints. That's not how this works.
Yeah, your
Evergreen can run in the background, where it's like, okay, if you don't have any good sprint ideas, you can increase the Evergreen a little bit this week. And when you have a good sprint
cow,
idea,
in a sense.
Exactly. Right? It's a cash cow. But does it really work? Is the Evergreen, can it hold a candle to what we just described with the Y Combinator list, the Y Combinator case study? And I'm going to make an argument that I think it can, Jeremy. In fact, it can be better. And here's why.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let's keep, again, my favorite number, keep two things in mind. One is you can use merge tags in order to customize the case study mentioned. And frankly, this is where personalization shines. It's not to say, I love the surfing picture on your LinkedIn thing. Not really. Not really.
Of Quickmail.
It's this, yeah. It shines when you say, look, Jeremy, this is relevant to you, and here's why. And so imagine for every company on your Evergreen list, you're going to have your personalization person just match the appropriate case study and use, this merge tag as opposed to like a whole blown campaign in order to show them why it's so relevant. Okay. And second most important thing, I think if we're really pressed hard here, we probably would say, gosh, just the fact that they're Y Combinator grads doesn't really make them the best fit for my thing right now. Like, sure, we have a glowing case study there, but really it has to do with the monthly page views they get. That's the biggest thing. And so an Evergreen campaign will allow you to ditch certain attributes that don't really matter and will allow you to embrace and get picky on the ones that do. So instead, imagine this scenario. I say, look, Y Combinator, Z Combinator, I don't care. But if you're a startup in the B2B SaaS space and you've got at least 10,000 monthly page views, we need to talk. You're going to love this. And so let's build a list around that. It's a bigger list. And you've picked something that hopefully matters more to your market in terms of a list building attribute than, a listicle you grabbed them from.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I'm thinking one of the pain of Evergreen, and I've seen that with a lot of customers and so on, is that it has what I call campaign fatigue. right? Which like it's harder to make it fresh. So you'll need to definitely have some strategy in place to rotate text or like, maybe create A/B testing
I
or
think
stuff
we're
like that. But
talking about what a deliverability concern.
yeah, from a
Mostly,
delivery
is that
concern,
right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I would say yes with a caveat. LinkedIn, you can send the same damn thing every single day of the week, no fatigue, right? So if you do multi-channel, and I think Quickmail is going to be a friend in that,
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you, Jeremy. But with cold email, no doubt about it. And one of the more fun ways to reduce list fatigue I've seen is what do you call? It's like the
Spin text.
yeah, spin text. Like, tell us how people can use spin text in this.
Well,
prevent it.
basically, I mean, in a very super basic form, it's basically picking up, having some text and picking up one at random, right? So some people use it for hi, hey, hello.
I
And it will be
believe
like,
that I think that,
rubbish.
yeah.
You should not do that because basically, well, I believe that TensorFlow and AI, they
it's too
basically
smart for that.
realize that exactly it's the same meaning. So, for example,
Okay.
if you ask ChatGPT, what is this email talking about? You will have exactly the same result, whether you say hi, hello,
Fair.
even
Fair.
dear sir, right? So you need to change the structure somehow, right? Whether it's effectively a different link to a different case, maybe vary the call to action, maybe some different thing. So we're coming closer to the A/B testing more than the actual, spin text. But with spin text, you could still do a few more lines of code different, right? So I guess that works.
And let's bear in mind, like, at SalesBread, we always use that custom intro personalization. That does help as well, right? Like, this is one of the reasons we're sitting here saying do your personalization. So imagine custom first line, custom case study, and maybe one more like industry thing that's going to help modify. But you're absolutely right. There's no getting around campaign decay, and to battle that, A/B testing. And do we want to hear that? Is that like a fun recommendation? Not really, especially when you have something that works. But
not fun, especially when you're supposedly evergreen. But hey, nothing is really passive. All right. So if you want it to work, you have to stay fresh. You have to stay on top.
That's a good point. In fact, maybe this evergreen term just means like more sustainable, or at least your hair's not going to feel like it's on fire every Monday when you have to choose a new thing. And then there's one last note here is, remember, we're saying this evergreen campaign is not your forefront everything. It's maybe in the background, just helping support, leveling you out. So if you do that, I think you will find quite a long run rate, long enough, hopefully, to warrant the keyword evergreen cold email campaign. So, and then couple that with multi-channel, like do this with LinkedIn, if it's whatever, like there's a lot at your disposal that will take some pressure off finding the next hot sprint campaign.
Well said. I will say you will limit your DK, your campaign DK. I like the new term, campaign DK instead of campaign fatigue. I think you will limit that if effectively you have it running in the background and springing on top, a different, sprint campaign as well, because overall the volume will be, sort of like mix and match. So should be good.
True. And I'll add one more thing before we close. It's like, you may be sitting here thinking it's a little daunting to make this evergreen campaign that's supposed to carry its weight for months here. But keep something in mind. A good evergreen campaign is informed by what's working in sales. So a lot of times you'll do a couple sprints, figure out, hey, it looks like monthly visits is like truly the factor if someone's going to care or not. So let your sprints inform your evergreen. That's down the road if you're new to it. And if you are new to it, or even approaching expert level, I do want you to check out course.quickmail.io for a much faster way to learn cold email. It's just a brain dump organized in 8 weeks of modules, videos, exclusive podcasts that we never publish except for our wonderful course members, that show you what the best agencies in the world know that actually gets their clients results and pays the bills. So check out course.quickmail.io for more on that. And Jeremy, thanks for a fun cast. And Thanks for hanging in there with me while we went through some semantics for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry
we
to
got
to be annoying with that, but I think I got the notion clear in the end. So thank you for that.
wonderful. All right, catch you next time.
Bye.